Welcome once again to the studios of WCSD TV and County Forum 89. Our next group of candidates are for Calloway County Jailer. The position of county jailer involves more than simply housing prisoners. Our county jailer must provide meals for inmates and employ necessary assistance to keep the jail operational 24 hours a day. The funds for these duties are provided by an annual budget designated as the County Jail Fund. Please welcome our candidates. Mr. Bill Bailey, Mr. Jerry Jones, Mr. Roger Colson, Mr. Joe Thornton, Mr. Rex Camp, Mr. Jim Parker, Mr. Pat Paschall. Also candidate for jailer, Mr. Ronnie Gardner, who was unable to attend our program this evening. Mr. Apperson, I believe you began our questioning.
As jailers, your prime responsibility is the holding of prisoners. As you well know, there have been mandates through federal reforms to update jails, complaints that they're not adequate, the meals aren't good enough, the TVs don't work. I guess what it adds up to is, are we coddling those that are incarcerated in our jails? What is your position as a jailer on those who you will incarcerate behind bars?
I'd say in your federal penitentiaries and the state penitentiary, they are coddling the prisoner more than your local jails would be. I would say that our local jail doesn't go to the extent, although it's the federal mandates to the states, and the states are starting in '81 begin to mandate to the local jails what they should do to help run a more efficient jailer, and I think those are mandated by the state, and the jailer shall go by the mandates of the state. You have no other choice.
The Bureau of Corrections, of course, in the state of Kentucky sets down the regulations and standards that we must go by, and they are overseen by the federal, of course. And there are many programs that the Bureau of Corrections set forth, many regulations that we must go by. And I believe on the federal level, from what I have read and what I have seen like on TV and other things, that it is more like a country club effect in the federal system, where in our local jails is a couple of steps down from that.
Mr. Colson.
I'd have to agree with Jerry and Bill. I think it's more coddling in federal penitentiaries. I don't think it ought to be a country club in either one. I think people that are in jail should be treated fairly and equally, no matter what they're in there for. I also believe that it shouldn't, you shouldn't mistreat them. You know, we shouldn't make it a haven for people to go out and rob, murder, whatever, and expect to get in there and just have a good life. If elected, I would treat them fairly, but I'd also go by the mandate set down by the state legislature.
I agree with what has already been said. After all, these folks are human beings. They should be treated with respect. And when elected your next jailer, I'll assure you that they will be treated with respect in all regards. Thank you.
I think that I'm going to do the right thing about as far as the prisoners, but I'm not put up there, I won't be put up there if I'm elected to crucify the prisoners or anything. All I'd be put there was to keep them in jail and feed them a good balanced diet and keep a clean place for them to live and respectable to myself. I don't consider even being up there to punish them other than keeping them confined. And I don't think the laws of the state will have to follow, and that's what we should be thinking about, not punishing them in any way while they're there, just keeping them confined and seeing that they're fed properly and go by the laws of the state. Thank you.
think they all ought to be respected and everything, and treated right and done by the laws like they're supposed to be, and feed them all a balanced meal and everything, and make sure they stay there and they're not in the comforts of home or in the comforts for what they've done wrong. And I believe that's all. Thank you.
I feel like that there's going to be some, probably some new laws handed down from the federal standpoint that's going to, for some prisoners incarcerated for 45 days or more, they're going to have to have exercise programs involved, and what I read, there's going to be it's going to have to be a law library established if you're going to incarcerate them for 45 days or more for their benefit, so they can petition courts for their release, as far as that goes. You know, I believe that's going to be in the future, but all prisoners, I feel like, still, they'll be treated fairly and equally in all respect.
Gentlemen, does Calloway County have to deal with the problem of holding prisoners longer than state prisoners, longer than the required time? And if so, will there be anything as the jailer of Calloway County that you can do to help ease the burden on other county jail systems such as ours?
We do not have really a length of time that has been set down by the legislature as to how long, or by the Bureau of Corrections, I might add, as to how long that we really have to hold a prisoner, as far as turn him loose if he's been there so long. I'll just put it that way. But we do have prisoners that have been there as long as 7 or 8 months that have been awaiting transportation to the state penal system. And to me, this is too long. I do not believe that state prisoners are Calloway County's problem. I believe they belong to the state. And I do not believe that we need to be forced, or we should be forced, to bear their burdens.
I have no thorough knowledge of how long people have been in there for waiting state penitentiaries. I sort of agree with Jerry. It's not the county's problems. If it's divided equally among I believe it's 120 counties in the state, I believe it's our responsibility to help the state out. You know, everybody's pretty well aware that we're having a little bit of overrun in most penitentiaries in the nation. I think that we should keep them if, you know, I don't think they ought to use it for a substitution for the state penitentiary. If it comes down they need 6-7 months for help for waiting to get in, I think we ought to hold them. But also I think there ought to be something maybe done, try to enlarge facilities at the state level. I'm not sure for, you know, how many prisoners come in and out of there that are awaiting state penitentiaries in a year, but I can rest assure you that I would treat them just as equally as I would anyone else, regardless of whether they're in there for public drunkenness or just disturbing the peace or what have you. They're human beings too, and we have to treat them that way.
There is a problem in this country on the federal level and also on the state level that has already been pointed out is terribly overcrowded. And the whole system backs up and eventually backs up to where the county is overloaded and has to take care of that problem also. What we do is just do the best we can and hopefully maybe that the situation will better itself in years to come. But it is a problem with overcrowding. It sure is. Thank you.